The price of oil climbed over $95 today, the highest it has been in 2.5 years, and driven by the latest wave of violence in Libya. So what does this mean for your freedom? Here's Charles Payne, CEO of wallstreet.com and Fox Business Network contributor, and Eric Bolling. He is the host of Follow the Money on the Fox Business Network every night. All right, guys, first of all, you were in the oil trading business for a while. I said to my company today, I have to find out what the number is, but a sustained, I'm thinking 115, 120 is going to make things, price of oil per barrel, is going to make things really, really soft and dangerous, and a spike up above that could collapse us. Sustained, 120 per barrel, 3-4 months, and then a real hard spike. Do you think that's reasonable?
Sure. You know, Glenn, we did this a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We traded up to $147 a barrel, but as you point out, it was very quickly, it fell off the end of the table from 147 to 33.
We weren't as weak as we are now.
It wasn't sustained. Well, it was a drilling issue, and there were things going on. You're right, though. You put a $120 barrel on the market for any period of time, that means somewhere around a $4.25 gallon of gasoline. American consumers, that's a lot of money out of the American consumer's pocket. That's hundreds of billions of dollars annually that go directly from the consumer shipped overseas to people who hate us.
Show this chart over here.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Show.
All right.
Bring the lights up so you can be.
Okay, so here we are. Here we are today, $3.17 on the pump, average pump price, okay? Problem is, the prices that are being discovered right now haven't hit the pump. They're on their way up. I think today, we're already in a $4 gallon of gasoline. I think the summer you're going to see $4.
What we bought already at a higher price.
Glenn, this price that you see on a national average doesn't take into account what's going on in Egypt, doesn't take into account what's going on in Libya over the last 2 days. We're 15 cents a gallon higher in just on the Libyan unrest, so add that on its way clearly to a $4 gallon of gasoline. That would cost the American consumer $138 billion. We use 138 billion gallons of gasoline per year in America alone. Do it again, go one step further. Venezuela. Chavez says, hey, Triple E, you want to come over here? You want to come hang with us? If they get involved, put Venezuela on the map, $5 gallon of gasoline.
Do you know anything about Venezuela? I hear that there are contracts with China. Ours are up in like 2 years, and we're getting a lower grade of oil to refine, or our contracts are up with that.
Let me just throw in here. I know this. Hugo Chavez has done something absolutely atrocious to America. He said, yeah, we have contracts with America, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm breaking the contracts. I'm shipping oil to China at an expense, at a higher cost to Venezuela, just to give the Chinese those barrels of oil rather than America.
Right. When does that start?
He's doing it right now. He's already said, I'm shipping them over there. Any additional barrels that we wanted to buy here, because we need it, we demand it, he sends it over there. China's very smart, though. China makes its bed with many, many different countries, including...
I want to talk about China, and I want to talk about Russia here in just a second. Okay, so
we'll keep going.
Next one.
Next one.
Iran.
Iran gets involved, all bets are off. You could see a $7 gallon of gasoline. By the way, you put $7 on the pump, $550 billion of American consumers' income, money, pocket money, going overseas, going to the Middle East, going to OPEC. Okay. And this one, here's the Mac Daddy of them all. Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia were to get involved, if this violence were to spread, we've already seen it go from Tunisia to Libya. If it ever spread into Saudi Arabia...
Can you bring that chart up for me?
$1 trillion.
Trillion dollars. Bring the chart up for me, please, up here on the big screen. The chart of in trade that is looking at which dictators. Do you see this?
No, which one's the next one to go?
Yeah, who's the next one to go? I'm telling you, if you just look at the map, well, here it is. You look at the map here. You look at the map here. Right here. Here's Libya. Here's Egypt, Algeria. Here's Saudi Arabia. This one is on fire right now. The United Arab Emirates, which is, I think it's about here. Bahrain, or not the UAE, but the Bahrain is right there. So you have this on fire, this on fire, this is on fire, this is on fire, this is on fire. Then you have Iran right up here. You have Jordan also on fire. Saudi Arabia is not going to be able to withstand that pressure.
They're getting it from all sides.
They'll get
right
it from
now.
all sides.
You know, what's really interesting is if you look at all the OPEC members, Libya, there's only 4 countries where the per capita GDP is higher than Libya. Now, this thing, the spark, could have been economic, food inflation, those type of things. But Libyans make 3 times more than Egyptians. So this is going beyond just an economic struggle.
Okay.
Next on the list is Saudi Arabia.
Let's go there because you also have some thoughts on youth riots as well. So let's go back to Saudi Arabia next.
Well, Saudi Arabia.
Hang on, next.
Okay.
Yeah. Tonight, I want to spend some time talking to you about what all of this means. It's no coincidence that all of this stuff is starting to happen. This is, what, we talked to you about this about 8 weeks ago. We told you all this would happen. We've been lining out the unions for quite some time. Now it's getting serious, and still nobody's really telling you what all of this means to you. Charles Payne, CEO of WallStreet.com, and Fox Business Network contributor, and Eric Bolling, host of Follow the Money on the Fox Business Network, is here. Let me go, Charles, to you. You brought up Saudi Arabia. I think Saudi Arabia is absolutely going to feel the pressure and possibly collapse.
You're absolutely right, because this, again, if it was about economics, you know, the average GDP per capita, 23,000, they could probably get away with that. But it's about something much larger, much bigger. But I got to tell you, before we went to break, you were talking about the youth and how this thing is spread. You know, the misconception that somehow this is about income inequality and things like that, I find, you know, amazing, because people in Egypt, people in Tunisia, people in Saudi Arabia, the average person there actually makes more money per year than the average person in India or China. And then in the meantime, you've got a guy in India who just built a 60-story house in Mumbai. Mumbai, 60% of the houses are made out of tin. So you've got this 60-story single-family house casting a shadow on all of these shanties, and people aren't in the streets. You know why?
Why?
Because they look up at that and they say, that can be me. We're losing that in this country. But around the world, in certain pockets of the world where you don't see this stuff going on, it has nothing to do with per capita income. Again, it has to do with the fact where young people believe they have a chance that there's upward mobility. And unfortunately, what I'm worried about, we're talking about all these other countries. In this country,
oh, yeah,
our youth don't really believe there's upward mobility. And the only reason there's not outrage out there is because they think we have a cool president.
Well, wow. That's saying something.
It's scary, because they're going to put off their own revolution for 2, perhaps 6 more years.
Well, he will. I think he will throw his weight behind what's happening. Show the front of the building now. This is the front of Fox. Now this is a cheddar revolution, is what they're calling it. On Saturday, 70,000 activists protested Governor Walker in Madison, Wisconsin. The Tea Party mobilized to counter-protest to support Walker, but a tiny turnout of 2,000. We beat him 35-1. So we'll have a victory rally on Tuesday in front of the real Tea Party headquarters, Fox News. We'll start at 5 p.m., exactly when Tea Party leader Glenn Beck goes on. Beck insists the American people support him. No, I don't insist that at all. I believe the American people support our founders. But we'll show him the American people really support our teachers, our firefighters, our police, and our unions. I agree with everything up until the unions. Americans don't support the unions. They do support our police and firefighters and teachers, and I think you'll be hard-pressed to find anybody on television that supports their police more than I do. We have a coordinated, I mean, when you see people going and saying, hey, we have to have Cairo happen here, and you see the unions. Well, one thing that you talked about with the oil that you didn't take into consideration, or most people don't take into consideration, is this perfect storm of how do you hold this together when you have the youth, when you have people instigating problems and trying to stir it all up. I mean, it's costing this teacher thing in Wisconsin is so far $9 million a day. How do you hold this together?
I don't know.
Not a day for the whole thing, $9 million.
I'm not sure how you hold it together, Glenn. Last night on the show, I had a kid. We had a reporter in the audience, a kid. He went up to a little boy. He's 6 years old. And the reporter said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I don't want mommy to lose her job." And he said, "What's her job?" He said, well, she's a teacher. And I turned to him and I said, "Do you understand? Does he understand that Scott Walker in Wisconsin is trying to save mommy's job? He's trying to make sure that mommy doesn't get laid off because the unions have driven the price of labor so high in Wisconsin they can't afford. They have a choice: either pay a union over market price wages, or not, or lay people off."
Eric, it's worse than that. My son, he has a report right now due on Richard Nixon and Watergate. He's in the 8th grade. This is what his subject is in social studies. He comes home all the time and he tells me his teachers blame everything on Chris Christie, the Republicans. Why would you teach an 8th grader out of all the things that happen in this country in social studies? And you should see the textbooks. That's his subject right now.
Well, here's the thing, America. We do have some answers coming for you later this week and a little bit in just a few minutes. Also, I'm going to ask both these gentlemen what I asked a team of experts today. I'm a businessman. I'm a dad. What do I have to do? At what point do things get so out of control that you think you better batten down the hatches hard? What's coming, and how do you not lose everything that you have? In just a second.